name is Samuel Akinrosoye Akinyemi. Samuel Remidomido Akinrosoye Akinyemi Remi. Education and indoctrination. Education comes with indoctrination to shape our perception. As a teenager in a secondary school, I used to feel deflated after my history lessons because I learned nothing about the contribution of Africans to ancient civilizations. However, our tutors taught us more about foreign glories. What they did teach us about our culture is the trans-Saharan trade routes and the slave trades, which is depressing and deflating by nature. To understand Black history, you must have an aerial view instead of a bottom, back, side, or front view. One must also learn the basic historicity of the rest of the world, because many of these crucial and distinctive artifacts are sitting on the mantle in the private collection of some unrelated and undeserving billionaires. Look, I need to explain to you about the religious system of the African, or especially the Yoruba tribe, to which I belong. There are 3 pillars of faith in the Yoruba religion. These pillars of faith are like your Holy Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. We don't refer to them as such. In the Yoruba faith, we have 3 houses. The house of Irumole, now, or Orisha. Irumole or Orisha are simply deities. They are our ancestor that has been deified, okay, after their death for the great achievement during their lifetime. So those are the Irumole. That's the first house. The second house is called the house of Awu. The house of Awu means the house of the cult. Now, the house of the cult in our religion is the hall of Amenti in comparison to the Egyptian mythology. The house of Awu is where all the knowledge is. These guys are the custodian of the ancient knowledge, and the most powerful people in the house of Awu are people we call Aje. Simply put in English, you will call them a witch, but in our tradition, we call them sorcerers. These are the most powerful people in the second house, called the house of Awu. Now, the last house is the house of divination. The house of divination is the house of Ifa. This is where all the ancient knowledge about the trials and tribulations of our deities, our gods, their life, what they did, what they achieved. This Ifa is the custodian of those literature. And this literature are what we refer to as holy verses. Altogether, there are 256 times 800 holy verses. Each of Ifa Odu contains 800 verses each. Now, continuing on the path of the Holy Trinity, we also have 3 key words. This is Allah, the spirit of consciousness. Ella, the spirit of light. Ashe, the spirit of energy. You can convert those to the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost in the Christian tradition. The house of Orisha is worshipped on Saturday in the morning. Now, Saturday in Yoruba language is called Ojo Abameta. Ojo means day, Aba means revere, Meta means tree. So Ojo Abameta, the day for worshipping the Holy Trinity, is already enshrined as a cryptic doctrine in the name of Saturday, Ojo Abameta. So now that we understand the structure of divination system, we now need to look at Ifa divination system, because Ifa is the custodian of all our knowledge. Ifa is as old as the universe itself. In fact, Ifa has his own universal creation myth, which is not very common or is not well known. Ifa is an ancient binary computer system that, in some inexplicable way, has successfully linked the probabilities of numbers with the complexities of human condition and the ever-complex flux of events. Every one of the 256 Odu of Ifa is convertible to binary numbers, the language of modern computers and devices. I have already converted all the 256 Odus into binary numbers. The algebra behind Ifa divination evaluates 64c raised to the power of 2x equals 16c. The function for c is fc equals a quarter c. Solve c. C equals 0. Factor c. C equals a quarter x, comma, 0. Solve x. X equals a quarter c. This is Clifford's algebra. This is what we call it, modern day. We call it Clifford's algebra. The conception of this sacred geometry of Ifa divination. A regular tetrahedron is a three-dimensional shape with 4 faces, 6 edges, and 4 vertices. The sacred geometry of Ifa divination consists of tetrahedrons in a circle, Ifa circular tray. The physics. The top tetrahedron and bottom pyramid of the remaining 255 Odu counter-rotate in 255 of the basis of energy patterns, meaning they rotate in opposite direction to create gravity, apart from Ejiogbe, which is anti-gravitational. The invisible configuration of the pyramid serves as a gyroscope that stabilizes the sphere, maintains its shape, and creates portals between the visible and the hidden realms of conception. The ancient programmers are the Babalawo elder in the cult of divination, because they were aware of algebra and geometry 10,000 years before the conception of Clifford, the mathematician. In addition, 9,000 years before Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Pythagoras, And Herodotus